Alright guys, I've got the Lenovo G27 gaming monitor here, and first, let's get the basic specs out of the way. So, it's a 27-inch monitor with an IPS Full HD display and a refresh rate of 144Hz, and it is G-Sync and FreeSync compatible. But before I talk about the display and the gaming experience, let's quickly talk about the design and build. Putting it together was super easy. So you get the stand right here, the height adjustable and tiltable arm with VESA mount, the power cable and a DisplayPort cable in the box. And right underneath that, you get the 27-inch panel. You can take the arm and screw it pretty easily with just your hands, but you can use a screwdriver if you really want to tighten it up. Attach the base and you're all set. And you can also height adjust this thing as well as tilt it front and back depending on whatever you feel is the most ergonomic position for you. Just a note, the monitor does not swivel left or right on its axis, so would have been nice to have, but probably in the next version. The base design looks pretty sporty by the way, the blue accents look good and the black gives it a pretty bold look. Now the arm itself is quite thin, doesn't feel as bulky on the table, and the overall look of the setup does not take too much of your space. You also get these OSD controls at the back which are slightly elevated so you can identify them easily without actually looking, and you get the Kensington lock option. The layout of the ports is pretty simple. You get one HDMI, one DisplayPort, and one 3.5mm headphone jack for audio out or connecting your gaming headsets. As such, the entire setup is not too heavy, fairly easy to lift and move to any other place that you want to. You also get a pretty simple cable management solution. It's like a hook that allows you to create a small loop to flow your cables right through and give it a neat overall look. Anyway, now let's talk about the display and a quick rundown of the specs. It's a 27-inch IPS Full HD panel with a 144Hz refresh rate, 99% sRGB color gamut, and a 1 millisecond response time. It's also NVIDIA G-Sync compatible and AMD FreeSync compatible, and I think that's already a pretty good resume for a gaming monitor. The bezels are near edgeless on the sides and the top edge. And if you're thinking of a multi-display setup, this is actually a very good option to consider. It's an IPS display, so you get a better color reproduction and better viewing angles as compared to, let's say, TN displays, which do offer higher refresh rates, but at the cost of color loss and poor viewing angles. And I would prefer a 144Hz IPS panel over a 240Hz TN panel any day for two reasons. One, the difference or the noticeable difference between, let's say you go from 144 to 240 is not as much as it is when you go from 60Hz to 144Hz. So for me, 144Hz is a pretty sweet spot. But more importantly, you can use IPS panels for a whole lot other things than just gaming, like watching movies, streaming TV shows, your regular office work, and if you're browsing the internet in general. However, if you're into serious, professional, creative work like graphic designing or illustrations or photo and video editing, I would suggest that you don't mix the two and probably get yourself a whole another monitor for that purpose. Also, the monitor peaks at 400 nits of brightness, which I think is pretty good and decently bright, and especially in this price segment. And, even in brightly lit indoor conditions, there's absolutely no issues. Alright, now let's get into the real action, okay? I started to play Valorant and check response times, input lag, and the FPS delivered on the monitor. And it has been such a pleasant experience. I mean, if this is going to be your first gaming monitor or an upgrade from the regular 60Hz monitors, you're going to instantly notice a difference, and in a very good way. The gameplay is immediately going to feel faster, smoother, and it's just going to engross you more than you've ever been. And you can check on the top left corner, the monitor displays the refresh rate that you're getting. It's a consistent 144Hz. And as I said, it is G-Sync compatible. So, there's no screen tearing and the performance is as seamless as you can imagine. Now, I also try to play Warzone. And we all know that it is a more demanding game, it's a more GPU intensive game than, let's say, Valorant. So I'm running an RTX 2060, which is actually outputting all of this game and all the frames to the monitor. And I may not be getting 144Hz, but I am getting somewhere above 100Hz, and it still feels pretty smooth. And the thing with real-time or live multiplayer games is that you gotta see the enemies very quickly. It's all about response time and that low input lag. And undoubtedly, gaming monitors like these, they leave you with more advantage with players that use regular monitors or lower refresh rate monitors that have higher response times, right? But yeah, I really can't emphasize enough on how amazing the experience upgrades when you go from a regular monitor to a gaming monitor. And it almost makes you want to replay all your favorite games again at these high refresh rates just because the experience is so different. So yeah, 1 millisecond response time, low input lag, 144Hz refresh rate. All of these things improve your gaming experience by leaps, especially when you compare it to, the regular monitors that have a more delayed response time as well as 60 Hz refresh rate. By the way, the monitor can be completely controlled using the Lenovo Display Control Center software. It gives you all the current state information of the monitor as well as allows you to change all the controls that you would otherwise from the OSD. For example, brightness, contrast. You can create desktop partitions, for quick window snapping. So if you want to resize your windows to specific grids, you can do that. You get various gaming tools that you can enable or disable, all handy during gameplays. And you can switch the source from between HDMI and DisplayPort if you wanted to. On the top right, you get basic and advanced controls that gives you more in-depth access to those controls. So you can go into game modes and you can switch between various gaming modes depending on what you want to use. You get all the color gamut and color temperature options. I love the neutral one the best, but you can obviously tweak the RGB levels to match what you think is best for you. You can change the resolution, the refresh rates, all from here, so you don't have to go into display settings of your computer or again, use the OSD for that matter. You can also monitor and change the audio source and controls, but I think that would be better if you did using the Windows controls. You also have access to gaming tools, so you can pretty much decide, do you want to display the frame rate? Do you want to display the timer? If yes, what's the countdown setting that you want to keep? Which position is the best for that? So yeah, quite a few handy things that does help you become a better gamer. And the best part, because it's all right in front of you in a pretty nice interface, it's easy to use. But of course, you do get the OSD controls, which you can go through. You can cycle through all the settings that you saw in the Lenovo Display Control Center. But yeah, because this is an OSD, so accessing them is not as easy, but hey, it's there. So yeah, any and all settings are available for you on the OSD as well, so it's your choice. Now, if you're in India, you can get the Lenovo G27 at Chroma, either online or at their retail stores. You can use the Chroma store locator to find the nearest Chroma retail store in your city and get an experience, the first-hand experience with the monitor. It's approximately available for 20,000 rupees at Chroma stores, either online or in the retail stores, so that's your decision. So, to summarize, I think the Lenovo G27 is an excellent choice and a pretty good value for money product, especially if this is your first gaming monitor or your first time upgrade from a 60 Hz monitor. You'll be pleasantly surprised at how faster refresh rates and low input lag can significantly alter your viewing experience and your gaming experience, especially your gaming accuracy. And then it's lightweight, it's easy to assemble, you get this near bezel-less design, and the fact that it has an IPS display offering better color reproduction and wider viewing angles just extends its capabilities beyond being just a gaming monitor, which I think is really great and just makes it an even more of a all-round monitor. Anyway, that's pretty much it on the Lenovo G27. If you've got any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section below, and as always, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification icon. I'll see you guys in the next one.